GVEC has always recognized the responsibility we have to make living and working in the Guadalupe Valley better as we've evolved and grown over 8 decades.
When making decisions, the GVEC board must consider how to empower our membership. We consider certainly high-speed internet that you can access your account, whether it's paying bills or getting information about your service. And of course, we're trying to expand that as rapidly as we can throughout the service territory, but it is a process similar to what we did when we brought electricity. It wasn't an overnight project. It was something that was an ongoing, and we're involved in that at this point. Some 80 years ago, electricity was somewhat of a convenience, but as we've progressed, it's now a necessity. Even folks can shop on the internet now, so I guess in the old days they used to shop on Saturdays. Now every day is a shopping day. As our world is changing very rapidly with increased technology, it allows people to conduct their businesses and operate their schools and even take care of their home activities and all of our activities in an efficient manner. And that's what we try to bring to our membership.
2020 handed the co-op the added tasks of figuring out how we would continue delivering these products and services safely, especially at a time that seemed many of these services were more important than ever.
Just as everyone around the country, around the world for that matter, was faced with a global pandemic, GVEC, we're a provider of essential services. And so while a lot of businesses were required to shut down or made the choice to shut down, GVEC didn't have that choice. You need that electricity there. You need your air conditioning there. You need broadband services there. By mid-March, GVEC really had to begin to think about how we were going to be able to conduct our business and keep our employees safe, and as well as keep our customers safe as we were interacting with them. We had about 1/3 of our workforce that we asked to begin to work from home. And so very quickly, because of the technology that we already had in place, we were able to send our employees home. About 1/3 of them were able to do those jobs from home. And so a lot of things changed in mid-March. Our AC technicians and our electricians having to actually go into people's homes. We needed to make sure that we had the protective equipment for them in place, that they could feel comfortable, as well as the customers as we entered their homes, that they could feel comfortable that we were doing everything that we could. Quickly installing internet was more necessary than ever. We saw an immediate need as folks were being sent home to do remote work, remote learning. The importance of the internet became very apparent, and so we stepped up and installed internet as quickly as possible. Some of the immediate changes that we made for our customers during the pandemic was to discontinue the disconnects for non-payment, as well as we stopped collecting late fees from our members, because we recognized that many of them were struggling from a financial perspective with the loss of their jobs and inability to earn money because they were being forced to stay at home.
We recognized that we needed to respond quickly to the needs of the members we served. In March of 2020, as the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic became evident, the Charitable Foundation Board increased the Power Up grant available for bill assistance, an additional $20,000. In July of 2020, the GVEC Board was very proud of the fact that we were able to pay a $6.6 million capital credits rotation, the largest rotation in any single year in the history of the cooperative.
COVID-19 affected many local businesses in the area, and GVEC felt some of the impact to varying degrees. However, as a cooperative delivering essential services, we still showed a strong performance.
In spite of the global pandemic having an impact on some areas of GVEC, we were able to have really strong growth. If you look at AC services that we provide, the electrician service that we provide, while they were constrained to some degree, we saw growth. We saw revenues increase for those particular services. Solar cells, battery storage, strong growth in those areas despite the challenges that we were faced with because of the pandemic. The internet just became vital for our members and for our customers, and because of that, we saw a 31% increase in the number of subscribers to that service. In addition to the 31% growth in subscribers for GVEC's internet service, there were some unique community support opportunities, like providing Wi-Fi hotspots in certain parts of our service area for teachers and students.
Technology continues to drive us into the future, and GVEC is working to ensure our infrastructure and members are ready for the future as it arrives. This includes doing what we can to enhance GVEC grid reliability and keep rates stable for our members.
GVEC service infrastructure has transitioned over the last several years from one that used to just be in place to serve electrons, deliver electrons down to the end user. Now it's transitioned more to one that has high-speed communications infrastructure as well. The convergence of the electric and the internet product really brings some valuable gains to the membership. By receiving data inputs from devices that are out in the field, we can bring vast amounts of data back in, and we can process that to identify when a failure occurs, where that failure might be. We can isolate that failure, and then we can restore by sending communications down to the breaker to then restore power to those members who are out of power at that current time. As the world becomes more connected, obviously there are a number of things that we have to watch. One is distributed energy resources and how they impact, basically rooftop solar, battery storage, electric vehicles, and their ability to push power back onto the grid. And then the Internet of Things. All of these things really packaged together help create scenarios to help us create long-term rate stability. Some of the projects that we're just putting finishing touches on that will help us build this grid of the future is the completion of our AMI infrastructure, where we just finalized changing out 90,000 meters, all of the endpoints to automated metering infrastructure. Alongside that, obviously the more dependent you become upon communications, we have to have a robust, redundant communications network to our substations, to our tower sites, and some of our critical data collection points. The completion of the Meadow Lake substation absolutely shows how we keep reliability and efficiency as the forefront when making decisions about serving our members. This area was a rural area in the southern portion of Seguin that was starting to grow at a rapid pace, lots of development going on in and around that area, and so we basically built the Meadow Lake substation to improve the efficiency and to improve the reliability for the membership in the southern Seguin region. In 2020, we added 150 plus miles of overhead and underground distribution lines to serve nearly 2,600 new meters coming on to our service infrastructure. We spend a lot of time trying to ensure our reliability standards are as high as they can be. And some of the things that we focus on are tree trimming, right-of-way inspection, pole inspections. We have a newly implemented drone inspection program where we're now inspecting our transmission infrastructure via a drone, which basically improves the amount of time that it takes to inspect lines versus the old days of just driving around and doing a visual inspection. Performance of our infrastructure are very important to us. CAIDI, SAIDI, and SAIFI are our reliability measurements that we look at. So CAIDI stands for Customer Average Interruption Duration Index. So it stands for how long are you out of power if your lights go out. SAIDI is basically taken as a system average. So on average, how long does the average member over the course of a year go without power? SAIFI stands for System Average Interruption Frequency Index. So how often does a GVEC member experience an outage over the course of a year? The restrictions that we experienced in 2020 did not impact our ability to build the fiber infrastructure that we had planned. We were actually able to complete over 3,800 new passings, over 7 distribution circuits, where we focused mainly on underserved regions within our service territory. Consistently improving upon our service infrastructure helps empower the people in the communities that we serve.
As a cooperative, GVEC focuses on money-saving solutions to manage our member owners' finances.
In 2018, GVEC launched the Rush Hour Rewards program, which is a Nest thermostat-based demand response program aimed to reduce usage during the critical periods of June through September, which is when ERCOT determines each utility's share of the statewide transmission cost. In May of 2020, we transitioned this program from Rush Hour Rewards to what we call Peak Time Payback, which is essentially the same thing, except now instead of just having Nest thermostats, we also can enroll ecobee thermostats. The benefit of peak time payback is that it helps to manage our cooperative's energy costs. It helps to manage the members' energy costs during the critical months of June through September. In addition to those benefits, if you enroll in the peak time payback program, GVEC will pay you $85 to enroll, as well as $30 per year for each year that you participate. Combined with GVEC's rooftop solar, as well as the SunHub Community Solar Program, peak time payback is just another example of how we continue to grow this behind-the-meter toolbox. These programs empower our membership by allowing our customers to take direct control of their costs and their electricity usage, which in turn lowers their electricity bill.
Part of what makes GVEC so unique as a cooperative is that we go beyond the meter to empower our members with solutions that save money and make life more efficient.
2020 presented some unique obstacles for us in our beyond the meter services. However, some of those flourished and did very well. Some of those were our AC and heating, solar, electrician, battery storage services experienced about an 8% increase in revenue in 2020 as compared to 2019. GVEC saw a steady increase of solar inquiries in 2020, and with that, the amount of systems that we installed, the amount of kilowatt hours we installed were both records for 2020, and then paired with that were the Tesla Powerwalls that we installed for the first year in 2020. It was an awesome offering that we offered to our membership and our customers. Solar and solar installation services is now a mainstream product for all of our members, for all of our customers. The demand that we're seeing indicates that this is a long-term solution that's going to be here for many years to come. 2020 clearly was a tough year, but GVEC was poised and in a position to help our membership and help our customers make life a little bit more bearable, a little bit easier to deal with. Our technicians as essential personnel were there day and night. As we spent more time at home, having a safe, efficient, and comfortable home was more important than ever. GVEC was proud to offer services to help fill that need.
2020 proved to be the year we found out just how important the internet is and how connected the world we live in has become.
When COVID came to our area, a record number of people began working from home and students transitioned to full at-home learning. So we started reaching out to some of those smaller schools in the area and just asking if there were ways that we could help. Two of the schools that we worked with was Moulton ISD, who reached out to us and asked us if we could help them with hotspots. And we just gave them to them to use at no additional markup. We just passed along the cost that we were seeing and let them use them to allow about 20 of their students and teachers to be able to use those in their home for remote learning. For Shiner ISD, we actually just put up a mobile hotspot tower site that we had on hand, which was the equivalent of about a $200,000 investment. And we just put it up in the parking lot of their school so their students could pull up and connect and do their work, download their assignments, upload their assignments while they were doing the remote learning and didn't have connectivity at their homes. So during the pandemic, when people started reaching out to us, we recognized the immediate need to connect new customers as soon as possible. And we were actually able to keep up with that, even with that immense response, because of the guys and how many hours they worked to get people connected as quickly as possible. And by the end of the year, we had actually exceeded 17,000 total customers between our wireless and fiber. So beyond just the fiber investments that we're making, wireless point to multi-point continues to be a huge part. And in 2020, we continued the expansion of that, adding tower sites, adding equipment to existing tower sites, looking at new technologies, which are ever evolving. And the most recent one has allowed us to start providing 25 megs to those rural customers. They were used to only having an 8 meg up and down, and this allowed us to provide a 25 meg service. And we completed the 4th phase of that in 2020. We have continued to stay focused on making sure that we stay up to date on advancements. And as part of that, in conjunction with that, we have a new portal that is My Broadband Account. Before, customers had to initiate any kind of service, they would have to call in and request that. Now they're able to, 24 hours a day, log into that portal and start a ticket process that allows us to be more responsive and get somebody out there to help. It's much more user-friendly. It's much more intuitive when the customer logs in for them to be able to select different options. It gives our customers access to their account information in a way that we've never allowed that before. GVEC's second E-rate project was completed in 2020. And what we did is we expanded our fiber from the Shiner substation to the Moulton substation and then into the city of Moulton to the school. And then they actually lowered their monthly cost and increase their speeds from 100 megs to 750 megs. The great thing about that is it also allowed us to expand services in and around that community, but it also benefits the entire co-op because we're able to take infrastructure out that we can do all sorts of things with, not just provide internet service, but have additional functionality with downline devices and smarter technology that benefits everyone.
Being actively involved in ways that benefit the communities we're part of has always been a priority for GVEC. In 2020, we strategized to find ways to do this while remaining a helpful resource to those we serve.
COVID-19 in the first half of the year was really a challenge for us because this was the first time ever that we had to figure out how do you serve the community from home. Our community relations representatives really just got creative and discovered that there was just a need for family activities and to help keep the kids busy and educated during this time. Things like stories, we read different kinds of stories to them. We did craft projects. We dove in and we learned about Facebook Live. There were some science projects in there, all the way down to just some simple and fun snacks that they can make at home. And really just embrace this newfound family time that the pandemic offered to us. Our community relations representatives, as well as our economic development team, took short videos for social media highlighting the different businesses in the area so folks could learn how to support these businesses while still following the CDC guidelines. We also found ways to continue our youth education programs, things like featuring our scholarship recipients online individually this year. We also took our 30-year electrical safety program, Louis the Lightning Bug, virtual as well. Now it's online at the Electric Universe website for teachers and students to access anytime they need it. In 2019, we announced the sale of a 159-acre tract of land, which was the largest economic development project in the history of GVEC to date. Despite the pandemic, construction for the facility was able to press on, and they were able to stay on track to open the facility for their first production run in 2021. GVEC is so proud to be part of the AW Texas project in Cibolo. It's a $400 million investment for the local area that will bring 900 jobs by 2023 to folks in the area as well. As the pandemic started, we quickly realized that our members were going to need resources to help them. And due to that, our charitable board foundation allocated an extra $20,000 in funds to the Power Up program to help those who needed financial assistance with their electric bill. In addition to that $20,000, there was over $64,000 distributed for electric bill assistance to our members. GVEC members also continued supporting nonprofits in the community and their enrichment programs through the grant side of the Power Up program, which funded 18 different projects totaling nearly $300,000. In total, since the program began in 2012, we funded 174 projects and over $535,000 in funds. Everyone at GVEC is so thankful for our generous members that participate in this program. They are the ones that make it possible to not only just distribute these funds across the community and to other members, but really empower the lives of those we serve and make things possible for a better quality of life for us all.
At GVEC, we value responsible financial management as it has a direct impact on how we are able to empower the lives of our customers and the communities we serve.
A strong financial position for GVEC is paramount in the things that we do, borrowing money, how we're rated. Our equity is very important, and the way we borrow money. With our strong financial position, we're able to capitalize on that. We can borrow long-term money at really low interest rates, and that helps us. I feel really good about the future. I think that as long as we stay on top of what we got going on and don't spend any money unwisely and take care of our members, that we have a strong future ahead of us.
A strong financial foundation is important, and one of the ways we do that is through our commercial paper program. GVEC was the first distribution cooperative in the nation to utilize a commercial paper program. This is a program that allows the cooperative to utilize short-term interest rates to finance its capital investments. Since the inception in 2010, GVEC has saved millions in interest costs under this program, which has a capacity of $75 million. GVEC recently executed a $100 million multi-advanced term commitment to refinance its existing commercial paper program and to provide funds for future system expansions and upgrades. The benefit in our borrowing strategy is always to try to derive the lowest interest rate. Lower interest rates equate to greater margins for our membership, bottom line.
The 2020 financials, which include GVEC, GVEC Internet, and Beyond the Meter service figures, include sales of $240,243,000, expenses of $226,619,000, equating to a gross margin of $102,064,000. The debt service coverage ratio was 3.13, while equity to asset ratio was 50.78%. These numbers reflect strong financial performance and make services that empower lives, like fiber to the home, on-bill financing, and SunHub Community Solar possible.
As we began to come out of the event, I just want to again express how proud I am of GVEC, of our employees, of our members for how we all came together to meet the challenges that we faced from this pandemic. So we've been focused on 2020, but I do want to just mention that we have not lost sight of the impacts that the event of February 2021 had on the membership. GVEC certainly took our licks during the event. We had some financial hits associated with it. It certainly has impacted our rates somewhat because of it. But in the end, because of the financial strength of GVEC, we were able to withstand the storm just as we've been able to withstand the pandemic. And no matter what GVEC is faced with, we will meet the challenges that come before us. We never know, as we've found out, we never know what those challenges may be. We will be there standing behind that, and I hope from the membership perspective that gives you some comfort and a sense of pride in the cooperative that you all own and are a part of.
At GVEC, we see it as our job to not only be a service provider, but deliver more. This is why we remain focused on delivering products and services that bring value to our members and the communities in which we live, work, and raise our families. As 2020 confirmed, no matter what obstacles or circumstances may arise, GVEC will always remain rooted in and stay focused on doing right by our members and continuing to empower lives in the Guadalupe Valley.